The best men's soccer teams in Ontario have made it to today, the final day of the OCAA Championships. Opening up today as you see the George Brown Huskies and Fanshawe Falcons making their way to the field. You've got the bronze medal matchup moments away from kickoff. These two squads competing for provincial bronze. It's great to have you with us on the Hawks Sports Network. My name is Matt Hamill. With me, my broadcast partner, Andrew Milani. Andrew, we have a battle of two teams here that have obviously had great seasons, making all the way to the last day of the OCAA Championships. Should be a great one kicking off soon here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at these two teams, almost identical in the standings. Both of them finished third in their division. Almost identical goals for, goals against record. It's going to be interesting to see how these two teams collide against each other. Saw George Brown put forth a good defensive effort, although they allowed a few more goals than they would have liked. Fanshawe had a tough time against Humber, but a chance to end on a high today.
Yeah, you mentioned the similar records. Both teams 7-2-1 on the year. So close in that respect. And, yeah, you touched on it too, Andrew. Both kind of similar in terms of offensive output on the year. We're looking at a George Brown Huskies team who have managed to score goals by the number of 29 with 10 against. Looking at Fanshawe, 32 goals for and 10 against. So very evenly matched, Andrew. And we'll unpack a bit more of what's in front of us in this bronze medal game here on HSN right after our national anthem. Here we go. The teams shaking hands, exchanging pleasantries to get the last few things out of the way before this game gets going. Andrew, let's highlight some of the players to watch here when we're talking the Fanshawe Falcons. Great ball club, and their striker, Mike Snedden, OCAA first-team All-Star, also led the team with 13 goals in the regular season this year.
Yeah, he had a great opening in the quarterfinal. Was shut down completely, I should say, by Humber yesterday. He's going to be looking to get back on the board today. But a player I would want to highlight on Fanshawe, he's not in the starting 11, but Kyle Cameron, number 7. So a little bit of a water buck coming off the bench yesterday. Managed to get a goal. We'll see if they, and when they pull him off the bench, and what he can do.
See the captains there, of course, for Fanshawe. Ryan Baker. Now let's talk about George Brown, Andrew. George Brown's Mark DeCote, second-year player, OCAA's Men's Soccer East Division Defensive Player of the Year is DeCote. Also have a couple of young guys on this George Brown team who have been able to really chip in offensively. And again, just speaks to the great matchup we have in front of us.
Yeah, George Brown's a good counter-attacking team. We saw they really got that defense clamped down against Seneca yesterday. The Watergate's kind of open against the stronger Seneca squad. It's going to be interesting to see how things turn out here against Fanshawe, a team that plays a little bit more of a similar style to them. We can see who's going to get that first goal here this afternoon. It's probably going to make all the difference.
Both teams don't allow a ton of goals against. You have on the regular season, Fanshawe 1.2 goals against on average, and for George Brown, 1.04. So we'll see if either of these teams' defenses give way. Should be a tightly contested bronze medal matchup for the OCAA championship. It's great to have you with us. It's a sunny day in Vaughan. A little bit on the cool side, Andrew. Working at about 10 degrees right now. Not too windy. Great weather for some football.
Forecast, it's going to rise a few degrees to about 13, 14, 15, but shouldn't get much warmer than that, so get ready for some cool weather here this afternoon. Not very windy though, which is good. So not too much of the elements affecting us here this afternoon.
Fanshawe will have number 1, Daniel Gonzalez in net, second-year player, getting the goalkeeping duties for today. George Brown still huddled up on the sideline there. We get a good look. Now, Andrew, let's kind of rewind to how these teams have fared in previous years. You can see it's really been the Humber Hawks who have been dominating the OCAA gold in recent years. But in last season, George Brown, runner-up, they got that silver medal. Of course, we missed a year due to COVID, but in the 2019-2020 season, it was Fanshawe who captured the silver medal. So both teams looking to get on the board here with that bronze medal for this 2022-23 season. And it looks like we're just moments away from getting the party started here, Andrew.
Yeah, both these teams at the top of Ontario men's soccer, trying to get back on top to where they were in previous years, trying to reach to the top, but didn't quite get there. A little bit of a step in the right direction here if they win here today. An interesting note, though, for George Brown, going with a different goalkeeper than they went with yesterday. Anthony Cheminara was very impressive in that semifinal matchup, but they'll be going with Butt in this one. We'll see how he fares.
It's Fanshawe opening up with possession. A little back and forth, and you mentioned George Brown's keeper, pretty vocal back there. Butt in net for the Huskies. Fanshawe still content to kind of keep their own pace here early on in their own zone. Lots of communication here from the Huskies, Andrew. Right on that sideline. And that will be a play that draws a whistle. Throw-in coming up from the Huskies, who have their first offensive possession of the game.
And a little bit of a different style we're seeing off that opening kick from the George Brown Huskies. Yesterday they played a little bit more in a defensive shell against Seneca in that semifinals. Today, looking to play a little bit more aggressive, trying to force the play a little bit.
Yeah, George Brown tackled in their own end. Now for the Huskies, Jason Alvarado getting the ball back to his defenders. Booted in there by Mark DeCote, who we talked about, really that defensive leader for George Brown on that back line. A minute and a half into this ball game. Real tight so far. Nice stretch pass as George Brown makes their way into the offensive end. Crossed.
Early penalty.
Yeah, the penalty box area. A little bit of a collision there. And taking a little extra time on the ground is Gianfranco Galeppo. Galeppo makes his way to his feet. Andrew, a penalty kick. Just over 2 minutes into this game, taking it for George Brown. Mark DeCote. DeCote with the kick, and that will be good for the first goal of the bronze medal game. Shot into that on the top left area, and give credit to Gonzalez, Andrew. He got a hand on it, but just a little too much heat on that kick. That's good for a 1-0 George Brown lead.
Yeah, great penalty take there by Mark DeCote. He had power, he had precision. Daniel Gonzalez gave it a good try, but not much you could do there on a perfect shot. We'll get another look.
At the line, it was a leg in that kick, finding that left corner. There's our sunshine angle right here behind the net. Beautiful stuff, really getting a good look at the way he was able to beat Gonzalez. Now it's Fanshawe with possession. The ball back in play. Huskies losing their contest in last year's gold medal game. Huskies losing 4-0 to Humber. So that was George Brown's silver medal from last year that we were talking about. Now, you kind of touched on it too yesterday, Andrew, for Fanshawe was that loss to Humber. Although Fanshawe did beat the St. Lawrence Surge 6-1 in the quarterfinals to punch their way to that semis matchup yesterday.
Yeah, and a big upset there. St. Lawrence had an excellent regular season, but just couldn't bring it that one day.
Yeah, it was Fanshawe yesterday scoring quick, 6 minutes into the game, and that was that kind of momentum that really carried them to that win against St. Lawrence. But it's George Brown who scored quick here in the bronze medal game. See how Fanshawe responds with the ball.
And George Brown definitely looks like the more determined bunch here early on, putting a lot of pressure on Fanshawe. Fanshawe looking a little bit more passive now, but they have the ball on the attacking half of the field. Let's see if they can get something going here.
Ibrahim Halaf, number 19 for Fanshawe, with a nice cross pass there. So really the first offensive drive for Fanshawe ends with an easy save for the George Brown keeper. Now, you mentioned George Brown kind of looking like they have the eye of the tiger in the first few minutes of this game, and they're charging into the offensive end now.
Eye of the Husky, if you will.
Eye of the Husky. Good karaoke song.
You karaoke guy, Matt?
Not so much. I don't want to subject anybody to having to tolerate my singing voice.
Oh, I just love making a fool of myself.
Big deep kick there. Fanshawe chasing after it. Lot of George Brown defenders, and actually Fanshawe will be charged with a little too much contact there. That'll draw the whistle. George Brown will take back possession in their defensive end.
Few early fouls here for Fanshawe, so I wonder if they're kind of replacing what should be good sound technical soccer with a little bit of over-aggression. That's something that they're going to have to correct here down later in this game.
So we're watching the bronze medal matchup here in the OCAA Championship weekend, wrapping up on a nice sunny Saturday. Coming up later this afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff as Fanshawe takes this ball away. We'll get back to the tee-up for the Humber game later. Down in the penalty box, a lot of Huskies in tow, and that will be stolen away.
A good takeaway there by Sumana, but I liked how George Brown had 3 guys on him immediately to cut out that scoring chance.
Andrew, back to my original point before that quick Huskies turnover, and Fanshawe takes it right back. The soccer gods just don't want me to preview the gold medal game coming up at 3 o'clock between the Humber Hawks and Seneca Sting. Now you have in that matchup, Andrew, this afternoon here at the Ontario Soccer Center, Humber, the #1 nationally ranked team in the CCAA, I should say, against the number 4th ranked CCAA team in the Seneca Sting. So that one coming up here on the Hawk Sports Network after this one will also be a dandy.
Yeah, Humber looking to build on their dynasty. 6 national championships in the last 9 tries. Absolutely impressive. Like one of the big dynasties there for Humber. They had their basketball dynasty, men's basketball in the 90s. They had their golf dynasty there in the early 2000s, and now it's soccer's turn.
That's going to be a good one there. 2 teams that have not lost the game this season. Humber and Seneca, 2 teams that have scored a lot of goals, not allowed many. So very intriguing to see how that matchup shapes out. Of course, both of those teams, Humber and Seneca, have earned a trip to Langley, British Columbia for the CCAA National Tournament coming up next weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a real clash of titans here at 3 o'clock. Looking forward to it.
Great matchup in front of us here. Of course, we talked about George Brown's quick start, and here they go again with the stretch pass that Andrew might just have had a bit too much on it. And try as he might, the Huskies, Joe Horace Tutu, not able to chase that one down.
Yeah, I like the idea of the through ball there, but just going to connect the dots.
Look out for Tutu throughout this game, number 18 in blue with the speed on that right side. George Brown keeper will boot this one away. Nice kick by Butt. Gonzalez, keeper for Fanshawe, really yelling at his team there, trying to communicate some strategy.
That's a sign of really a good keeper. You got to be that defensive captain back there. Make sure that your defenders are in the spot where they should be. Same with the midfielders. They play an important defensive role. So you really want your goalkeeper to be very vocal.
And that would have drawn the offside call, so the Fanshawe keeper will just let that one roll out. Goal kick coming up. Gonzalez just plays it up to his defender. And between the two keepers, Butt and Gonzalez, they might have two guys who are talking more than we are today. These guys are really communicating to their team. So far 1-0 in this bronze medal matchup, just shy of 10 minutes into the game.
Quick goal off a penalty if you missed that in the 3rd minute. Came off the foot of Mark Decote.
And like you mentioned, that was a penalty kick. Seen a couple of whistles drawn by Fanshawe, playing a physical brand of soccer early on. As George Brown is going to work their way into the offensive end. So far, Andrew, has been some good ball control from George Brown, and that's really helped them. I feel like they're in the driver's seat in the early going so far.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, it's really that pressure that's been leading to their success here early on in this one, both offensively and defensively. They got that kind of full court press thing going on when they don't have the ball, kind of keeping Seneca in their, or Fanshawe rather, in their own end.
So George Brown's head coach, John Williams, in his 7th year at the program, has to like what he's seen from his club thus far. Fanshawe with some offensive pressure now.
There we go again. Once we get to Fanshawe player getting close to that 18-yard box, there's always 2 or 3 George Brown players on him. It's going to present a real big challenge here for the Falcons.
And goals will be really a valuable resource here because, again, we've talked about the defensive strength of both of these teams. We saw Decote with that penalty kick goal early in this game, but he's also very solid, kind of locking it down on the other end as well. So 2 teams that don't allow a lot of goals, so you got to think any goal scored will be very valuable. They're not going to come easy today. Cleared out, but Fanshawe is going to keep possession in the George Brown side of half here. Dribbling right in front of us is Eric Savoy. Savoy, a first-year player for Fanshawe, wearing number 15 for the red and white. The Falcons against the Huskies, and a nice stretch pass into the zone. Fanshawe with the ball in deep now, looking to even up the score. They're down 1-0 early in this game. Cleared out nicely by George Brown defense. Taken away by George Brown and kind of methodically working their way out of their own zone. Ethan Hunter's pass is turned over. Fanshawe streaming in. Now, Andrew, this is one of those times where Fanshawe actually seems to have a few bodies in deep. George Brown doing a nice job defensively recovering. And that is a good cross opportunity. Really nobody home there for Fanshawe, so George Brown taking back possession.
Yeah, once again, George Brown showing off their defensive skills there. A few of those Fanshawe players got in, but George Brown has all those players coming back in numbers and really makes things difficult, kind of clogging up the lanes in that defensive third.
Stolen away now. Fanshawe streaking down, and that stretch pass handled by Butt. Well, we talked about George Brown's head coach in his 7th year with the program, John Williams, and for Fanshawe Falcons, 8th year head coach, Rob Pereira. He's calling the shots for the team in white here today. Today and for the past 8 years.
Yep. Obviously doing something right if he's been able to stick around for this program for that long.
Where were you 8 years ago, Andrew?
Oh boy, I gotta think. I was in a program that I did not graduate from.
But I think your time at Harvard was still a positive experience, right?
Oh, of course, it gave me many connections. You know, could put that in a resume, you know.
So see that ball in the corner there.
Early substitution here for Fanshawe. Anas Ayeda is going to be checking in. And it looks like Ryan Baker, the captain, is going to be coming out.
Baker had been taking a knee there earlier, so not sure if he's checking out to maybe have a chat with the athletic trainer. Looks like he's heading right to the bench is Ryan Baker, 5th year player, one of those leaders we talked about for the Fanshawe team. Baker, a first team all-star in the OCAA, also led the Falcons in assists this year.
Ayeda, no slouch himself, though. 4 goals and an assist on the season.
Yeah, good break opportunity by George Brown, although that play's whistle dead for the offside. So here comes the free kick, and Fanshawe will just kind of tap it back. So Andrew, so far we've seen pretty limited opportunities really for both teams. I mean, that early goal, definitely a good shot for George Brown on that penalty kick.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, I'd say there really hasn't been a grade A scoring opportunity that we've seen. It's just been a lot of possession and defensive play here.
Michael Sumana did a wonderful job to receive the pass, break in the zone, but his cross attempt a little bit too strong, Andrew, landing out of bounds.
Yeah, once again, that George Brown defense, that back line, really making things difficult on the Fanshawe attackers. It's going to take a pretty good play here for Fanshawe to break through that Huskies defense.
George Brown looking to break out here. And Andrew, so far, yeah, it's the kind of game we expected. Very methodical, bit of a chess match here. We really weren't expecting we would see a 4-4 type of game. These are 2 defensive teams and not going to allow anything easy, but a big early goal for George Brown as that's fed into the inside, blown offside. That would have been a beautiful opportunity for Ethan Hunter, number 23 in blue.
Yeah, Hunter just a step or 2 ahead of that back line. Assistant referee caught that right away. Flag was up.
Here comes Fanshawe now, stretching the play into George Brown's side of the field and kicked out of bounds. Here comes that free kick. Fanshawe lost their first 2 games this year, Andrew, and then went on the rest of the season without another loss until meeting Humber yesterday afternoon in the playoffs. But kind of goes to show for Fanshawe, after maybe not the ideal start to the season, they've been very good down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely a very impressive team here. Fanshawe also a very strong sports school in general, so not surprising that they were able to turn around that season.
That pass into the zone was almost sparking a good opportunity for George Brown, but Fanshawe's defense doing a good job of holding strong, stealing the ball away now. On to George Brown's side.
It's a couple times now where George Brown has tried to feed Tutu on that right wing side. Watch out if he can get open. He can be very dangerous from there.
Yeah, we had about 100 yards past the kind of south goalpost here. We seem to have some kind of garbage fire or something.
Hopefully a controlled fire, as it looks like it's gone now.
I think it might have been a controlled burn, maybe something on the up and up, because so far conditions for soccer are looking great today. Of course, you know, last Saturday, Andrew, was closer to 20 degrees. I think a few of us here with the mittens on today wouldn't mind that, but can't complain about this. Above average temperature here in Vaughan, the Ontario Soccer Center, as that's cleared in. Good job by the Huskies getting back, although Fanshawe still with possession. That kick handled by Butt.
Not a bad chance there by Sumana. He had a bit of a bead there on the net, but managed to get over the back line, but just didn't have enough power on that one. Was an easy save for the keeper.
Yeah, and the George Brown players kind of close to their defensive end. Bit of barking going on. They weren't quite happy with the way they allowed that offensive opportunity for Fanshawe. See how George Brown regroups as they try to stretch it deep into their opponent's zone. Subs coming in, Andrew, for the George Brown Huskies. Checking into the game will be Johuris Tutu.
Also, Renato Freitas checking in.
Yeah, Freitas coming in for Jonas Jama. So Jama will take a breather for the team in blue. See if Fanshawe can mount another offensive chance here. Some good passing, working their way deeper into the zone, and just going to take that kick, which goes just over the net. But Andrew, that was a pretty beautiful looking strike. We had a good angle on that. That was Ibrahim Halaf.
Yeah, it's a beautiful opportunity here. Definitely Fanshawe's best scoring opportunity of the game. Just, he had everything there except managing to find the net, but if he keeps taking chances like that, Fanshawe's going to put one away soon.
Halaf, one of those young players, a first-year guy. And here's this look at how that went. Not too high over the crossbar.
Let's see if Fanshawe can ride that momentum wave here, try and get something to go.
The bronze medal on the line here in the first of 2 games from the Ontario Soccer Center that you can catch today on the Hawk Sports Network. 3 o'clock, we'll have the kickoff of Humber versus Seneca with provincial gold up for grabs. And for the Humber Hawks, they'll be looking to capture their 4th consecutive OCAA gold.
Four-peat in Ontario soccer's only been done a couple times before, I believe, so be a great mark on this program if they're able to complete that.
We mentioned George Brown got the silver last year, so looking to once again come away with the medal. Fanshawe was held off the sort of medal podium last season, although Fanshawe did capture the silver back in 2019. For the Seneca Sting, the other team we're seeing in the 3 o'clock game, as this ball is stolen away and George Brown's defense quickly regrouping, handed right back, and maybe a good chance there, Andrew, to just clear the ball out while George Brown was A little shaky on that possession defensively.
Yeah, bad giveaway there. They gave it right to Michael Snedden at the top of the box. Could have been disastrous for George Brown.
Cleared in. So Andrew, feels like momentum shifting in the favor of Fanshawe here. They're getting lots of time with possession. And for George Brown, after a hot start, it seems like Fanshawe's really caught up and are flying right with them right now.
Yeah, Fanshawe's got to be careful here because we've seen before if that momentum, if you're not able to capitalize on that momentum swing, it tends to swing the other way. So they got to be careful here about how they play this.
Yeah, you got to keep your foot on the gas. But right now it's Fanshawe with the juice. George Brown looking to kickstart some offense, but that pass is taken right back. Possession here for Fanshawe. Falcons streaking in now. Beautiful pass there, handled by Sumana, who takes his shot and but with a fantastic dive to the left. So once again, Andrew, the offensive chances, the positive momentum for Fanshawe continues.
Yeah, and that shot there, had to make that shot on the run. Not a great opportunity, like not a perfect opportunity, I should say, but had to get the goalkeeper to move, and we stay at 1-0.
Beautiful pass there, and good job to put on the brakes. File that as a quality chance.
Another one for Fanshawe. They're starting to add up.
And that quick goal by George Brown perhaps gonna be in that little wake-up call for Fanshawe, who have certainly answered the bell as we are now approaching the 26th minute of play.
Yeah, it took a little bit for the Falcons to get settled into this one, but now they're starting to feel themselves a little bit, starting to get their game going, and could cause trouble here for the Huskies if they're not able to put a stop to things.
Yeah, they're starting to kind of get warmed up, starting to feel themselves. I think the same can be said about me and you, Andrew. We've been broadcasting for 26 minutes now, and got our legs under us. It's George Brown's ball here. So let's see if the Huskies can kind of answer back, maybe put a little bit of fire extinguisher on the growing momentum of the Falcons, but it'll be a throw-in chance for Fanshawe right now.
Also interesting to note, George Brown's only shot coming from that penalty. So they've been kind of stuck in that defensive shell for most of this game.
Here we go. George Brown kind of on command, looking like they're going to muster up a bit of offense here. Fanshawe's D doing a great job to close it off, clear it down. Really good battle for possession the past few minutes. George Brown with a bit of room to work with, stolen away, and heavy contact along that right sideline will get the free kick for Fanshawe. We'll also have a substitution coming into the game, Andrew, for the Huskies. It's going to be Nicholas Orsini, first-year player coming in, and having the break will be Johuris Tutu.
Head coach John Williams not shy about using his subs early on here. Obviously didn't see or saw something he didn't like early on in this one. Not afraid to change it up a little bit, kind of keep Fanshawe on their toes a little bit.
Huskies crossing midfield now. Ooh, nice space to work with here. Great job by Renato Freitas. Freitas doing a little nice solo effort there, stealing the ball back. Renato really doing a lot of work there. Fanshawe does sort of converge and steal it away. Here they come. Clearing kick, Falcons, almost a chance there. Mubrar Butt doing a good job of really getting out there, shutting that play down, because it looked like Fanshawe might have had a little bit of a break. Working in tight here are the Falcons. We expected a defensive battle. We've gotten that so far, and you kind of touched on it there, Andrew. Aside from that penalty kick, not much in the way of shots for George Brown, but that's still good enough to give them a 1-0 lead here.
And that last offensive possession that George Brown had felt like the last time they'd gotten any meaningful possession in that attacking third of the field since that penalty. So perhaps the momentum could be shifting here a little bit.
A bit of deception there from Fanshawe, looking for some open space. Savoy kicks it into the middle of the field. Looking for that stretch pass. Huskies charging back now. We'll take a second to regroup. And that will be sent in deep, turned back over to the Falcons. Not much in the way of clouds here today, Andrew. Sunshine is the name of the game here on the last Saturday of October. Of course, Halloween on Monday. The fall vibes are in the air, there's no doubt.
You have your costume picked out?
No costume this year, although typically I just do the cop-out move where I do a football player, I throw on like a Dan Marino jersey and put some eye black, you know, and that's pretty much more often than not my Halloween costume idea. Now, Andrew, our viewers can't see, but you have a fantastic mustache. You may become a police officer for your Halloween costume.
I could, but no, I'm going to be doing Darth Maul from Star Wars.
Very nice.
Yeah, I got the mask.
Into the hair and makeup, or you got the mask?
No, I just got a mask on. I'm not that crazy. I imagine that would be a pain to wash off, so
yeah,
I'd like to save myself from that.
Now, you were telling me before the broadcast, you actually are going trick-or-treating this year. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't think I could pass for a 13 or 12-year-old anymore.
As that ball is tipped out of bounds, and it looks like we'll have a corner kick opportunity coming up. So look out for Fanshawe. We're over 30 minutes into this game. Fanshawe down by a goal. Can they charge back here? Even this one up. Opportunity coming up. Players getting positioned in front of the George Brown net. It's in tight, but the Huskies find the loose ball. So really not much taken away from that corner kick opportunity for the Falcons.
And interesting to see how the Falcons lined up on that corner kick, kind of trying to work things station to station instead of just going directly into the box. Wonder if they're going to go for that again if they get another corner.
Huskies had the free kick, but just give it right back to Fanshawe. And it's the Birds back in possession. Pass in tight, lots of Husky defenders, and that's one thing we have seen. We mentioned not much in the way of offense from George Brown other than that penalty kick, but the defense, Andrew, has just been really there in numbers. Anytime we've seen Fanshawe with some of those breaks, you just see all kinds of Huskies, but here comes George Brown on the right sideline. Lots of offensive room to work with here. Renato doesn't quite get too much on that kick. Easy save from Daniel Gonzalez.
Yeah, Renato Freitas had that through ball that fed him open, tried to cut into the middle. He had that man on and made things very difficult for him on the shot.
So keep an eye on number 7 for George Brown. Renato Freitas has as a first-year guy, has really shown some good ball control, making some opportunities for himself.
Yeah, he was very impressive yesterday in that loss to Seneca.
Andrew, one more Halloween question for you. The #1 top-ranked Halloween candy in your estimation, what are you going to go with?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I hear a lot of Reese's Peanut Butter Cup when I ask this question.
Yeah, I think that's where I got to go too. Big fan of the chocolate peanut butter mix.
So we have a Fanshawe player on the turf, taking a little bit of time to get up, Michael Sumana, although he does appear to be okay, which is good news. Halaf gets the ball back, 19 in white with a cross opportunity. Fanshawe in tight, lots of bodies, but stolen away, cleared out by George Brown. Now we're back at midfield.
For the Halloween question, though, honorable mention to Kit Kat, though. Love me a good Kit Kat.
Kit Kat, you know,
Not a fan?
good save there, beautiful strike. Looked like that was going wide, but able to reach across and get a hand on it. You know, I like the Kit Kat. I mean, that whole Nestle 4-pack with the Smarties, Kit Kat, Coffee Crisp, and Aero. You know, nothing too special in that assortment, but I do like a Kit Kat. I will give you that. Nice little crunch to go along with the sweet. And right now, after George Brown's keeper got a hand on that, that'll get yet another corner opportunity. And last time we saw Fanshawe just kind of tap it, this time sending it in front of the net. And cleared out in a big way by George Brown. Looks like we have a throw-in coming up here. Fanshawe maintaining possession deep in George Brown's end. Another chance put on net. A little bit of a bobble there. Ball dropped by the Huskies keeper, but ultimately handled, shutting down that offensive drive for the Falcons.
I think Fanshawe really realizes what's on the line here. They see time running out here in the first half. They know that if they can tie it up, they'll have a huge momentum swing heading into the second half. Even a big goal-scoring opportunity can do large for a team going into the second half.
George Brown transitioning to offense. Look out on the other side. Freitas not able to get a leg on it, as Fanshawe's defense doing a good job closing things down.
And that's a little bit of a dangerous kick there. Almost went into his own net. Keeper Daniel Gonzalez had to be on his toes there, but luckily it bounced away.
Crossed in there. Fanshawe disrupting that offensive pass.
That was something we actually saw yesterday from George Brown. They had a lot of trouble getting those crosses off the corners high up. A lot of them were low crosses, and it was easy for the other team's defense to pick up on them.
As Freitas takes the ball back, crossed over. Great pass there by Renato, but that scoring opportunity goes wide.
Alon Steinbach had a little bit of an opportunity there, but unfortunately had the defender on him, couldn't get away that kick cleanly, and I'll drift by the net.
Quick blast from Fanshawe's Michael Snedden.
Not a bad strike opportunity there. The George Brown defense obviously wasn't ready for that one and missed, but it's one of those shots where you take 10 times and might go in a couple.
Kind of feel like we're seeing a little bit of offensive play heating up here. Much like my hand warmers, the shakeable hand warmers, this game also heating up here, Andrew, the offensive respect. George Brown charging back in. Here we go, cross opportunity. Swallowed up by Fanshawe. George Brown does get the ball back. A little bit of a jersey pull there, and then too strong. So give credit to Huskies' Alon Steinbach. He's really fighting, and he draws penalty, although this is going to be a free kick, Andrew, about 12 yards outside the penalty box.
Yeah, still in some dangerous territory. George Brown not sending too many attacking players into the box here, though, so they're going to keep that defensive identity going just in case Fanshawe gets a counter.
So the Kick coming up. George Brown hoping to tack on another goal. A little bit of a insurance policy. And that will get through and is scooped up relatively easily. At least Gonzalez is making it look easy with that save. Fanshawe will transition now.
They elected for the direct free kick strike. Fortunately, they just can elevate that ball, made things easy for the keeper.
Lots of field to work with for Fanshawe. That's a beautiful pass and received off the header by Nick Jimenez. Jimenez not able to corral that ball. George Brown is back with the rock. Brown just kind of cycling it around in their defensive end, and there's a big pass into Fanshawe territory. So we appreciate you being here with us on the Hawks Sports Network. We have about 5 minutes of regulation left in the first half of this game, the bronze medal matchup. This game got going at noon, and of course at 3 o'clock on HSN, we'll have the gold medal game. And here's George Brown working in tight. Not able to come away with the goal. It was a pretty nice cross pass there by Max Jordan, but just not able to really find a good on-net opportunity in tight.
That all started with a great read there by Ethan Hunter, picking up that pass from the Fanshawe defender. It almost led to a great scoring opportunity, but they just couldn't connect. Another good read there by the Huskies.
And too strong from Fanshawe's defense. Free kick coming up.
Now we're seeing more George Brown Huskies being sent into the box as they'll be looking for the cross off this free kick.
With Max Jordan taking the kick for the Huskies. Jordan waiting for his team to get set up. Let's see what we get off the foot. Max Jordan. Fanshawe getting right in the way, although George Brown does maintain possession here. Working in tight. Give credit to Fanshawe's defense once again, breaking up the opportunity. All still in tight here. A little dicey, as that's almost an own goal there. It's Fanshawe's defense trying to clear it. It almost went bar down, Andrew.
Yeah, second time we almost saw an own goal by the Fanshawe Falcons. They got to watch out. George Brown, when they put that offensive pressure on, they're dangerous.
So look, that was pretty close. Now the sunshine not really cooperating with that particular angle.
That ball was labeled for that top corner, or for that top shelf, I should say.
So real in tight here, risky chance here for the Falcons, who have to really find themselves tightening up, but now right back the other way. Almost saw Fanshawe with a couple of numbers on the breakaway. But for Fanshawe taking a pretty hard contact, looks like Michael Costa.
Yeah, 1 second.
Costa for Fanshawe does make his way to his feet, which is good to see. First-year player got hit hard, it drew the whistle, kind of slowed the play down. So free kick for Fanshawe. We're down one here. As we're nearing the injury time part of this first half. We'll keep an eye out for just how much time gets tacked on here once we hit that 45-minute mark.
Don't anticipate too many minutes being added on here. This has been a pretty briskly paced game. Not too many stoppages.
A good ball game so far. You know, we've seen both of these teams with that defensive strength on full display. And the offense kind of heating up. Maybe as these two teams kind of feel each other out, Andrew, we're kind of seeing things open up here. It's making for some exciting soccer as George Brown is rushing down the sideline. Ethan Hunter doing a lot of legwork there for George Brown down that right side, but not able to find anybody on the interior, although they do get the corner kick. So like you said, Andrew, you were giving me the signal. We're going to have an extra minute of injury time once we hit that 45-minute point. Freitas sending it inside. Hunter got a foot on it. Nifty little touch on that ball as George Brown looks to make their way inside. Fanshawe with a bit of a clearing kick there. Charging back in is George Brown.
And off that corner, another low cross there. It's been easy for Fanshawe to pick up on. I really wonder why they don't just have a guy there by the corner for that short pass. If nothing else, it'll change things up and kind of keep that defense on their toes.
That time, Fanshawe's defense picking up the whistle. George Brown's now getting a free kick as a result. Pretty far over towards that sideline. We'll see what the Huskies can cook up here. It's a little dicey, Andrew. That ball just bouncing around, and that's good enough for the second goal of this game, and that was not the kind of play you see every day. The ball just kind of bouncing around, taking a few deflections. Yeah, interested to see this replay.
Yeah, pure chaos there in the 18-yard box for Fanshawe.
Calamity.
We'll get another look here, but
free kick was coming from way downtown and just trickling in there. Yeah. The Huskies even kind of scratching their heads. They're putting in a goal and just not entirely sure what just happened. Now here is the angle.
Yeah, just a defensive miscue there by the Fanshawe Falcons.
No surprise there. Yet another goal coming from George Brown's number 8, Mark DeCote. And that whistle will send us into halftime. George Brown picking up an early goal and a late goal in that first half. That gives them a 2-0 lead here in this OCAA bronze medal matchup. The Falcons have been looking good thus far, but just once again allowing one early and late. Let's, Andrew, before we take a little break and step aside for halftime, let's take a look at some of the highlights. Now, obviously we'll have to kind of start early on with the play that drew the penalty kick. Here's how that played out.
I think Fanshawe was just a little overeager there trying to get this game started, and that led to that penalty. It was a perfect strike there. Keeper got a piece of it, but obviously not enough as that was labeled for the top corner.
DeCote with a fun kind of whoop-de-doo celebration there on that first goal. And here's a look at that second one, and it was DeCote. You could see he's kind of wasn't happy with the amount of leg he got on it. He was almost not happy with that particular goal.
As you like to say, Matt, they don't say how, they say how many. Or they don't ask how, they ask how many, I should say. But Fanshawe's really got their work cut out here for them in the second half as they're down by 2. Looked good for majority of the game, just they've got a few scoring chances, but have just not been able to get that one to get past the keeper.
Going to have to blow it open in half number 2. Fanshawe down 2 goals to the George Brown Huskies in the bronze medal game. The OCAA gold medal game coming up at 3 o'clock later today on the Hawk Sports Network. But stay with us. In a few minutes, we're back for the conclusion of the bronze medal matchup.
No problem. I was like, I think he meant me. No worries, no worries.
We are back on the Hawks Sports Network for bronze medal action in the OCAA Championship weekend. Wrapping up today, a sunny Saturday at the Ontario Soccer Centre. 2-0 is the score after one half of play in favor of the George Brown Huskies. My broadcast partner, Andrew Milani, is going to break it down for us because it was George Brown scoring early in that first half and late to have that 2-goal lead heading into this one.
Yeah, early on there was a foul in the box leading to a George Brown penalty. Absolutely perfect strike taken by Mark Ducote, leading to an early 1-0 score. And Fanshawe, they definitely had their chances. They had a lot of possession for the rest, almost the rest of that half, but then it was a little bit of a blooper squirting into the net. Mark Ducote getting that one again. Didn't really get full foot on that one, didn't get a lot of power, but squeaked through either way. Here we are, 2-0 for the George Brown Husky. Fanshawe's their work ahead of them. It looks like we're going to have a number of substitution for the Falcons as well.
Notable substitution, Andrew, in that we're having a new keeper coming in for the second half here. Checking into the game.
Yep, ready.
Will be Luis Medici, taking the place as keeper for Daniel Gonzalez. So Medici will be in net for the Falcons.
One of the players I mentioned coming off the start of the broadcast, Kyle Cameron, coming off the bench for Fanshawe as well, scored their lone goal yesterday. Was really buzzing that whole game long against the Humber Hawks. Let's see if he can give his Falcons a little bit of a spark here in the second half.
Kyle Cameron got a little bit of a Heath Ledger lookalike thing going on. Number 7 in white. Checking into the game. George Brown starting with possession. George Brown, the Defensive Player of the Year for the OCAA, weirdly enough, is the gentleman with 2 goals, the only 2 goals of the game. So for Mark DeCote for the Huskies, getting it done on both sides of the field. Second-year player for George Brown, coming in big. Has his team leading this bronze medal matchup here on the Hawks Sports Network. My name is Matt Hamill, working alongside the great Andrew Milani. Not just a guy with a great mustache for Andrew Milani, also a great guy overall standing to my right here in the broadcast booth.
Oh, stop it.
Now, of note, this is, of course, the wrapping up of the championship weekend here. The bronze medal matchup right in front of us. Second half is underway. Coming up, starting at 3, the Humber Hawks, who are hosting the provincial tournament here, will be taking on the Seneca Sting. Seneca ranked 4th in the country. Humber ranked number 1. So that game will be surely a great matchup here later this afternoon.
Yeah, Humber ranked number 1 basically all season. No surprise there, as they're the defending national champions, but that will really be put here to the test this afternoon against strong Seneca squad. I mean, you look at those 2 team stat lines, almost basically the same.
Yeah,
each of them
lots
only
of offense.
Lots of offense, some great defense as well, only allowing 5 goals each on the season. Seneca scoring 50, Humber scoring an OCAA record 56. And a little bit of a score update for you now. Humber Hawks women's leading 1-0 towards the end of the first half against the Niagara Knights in the women's provincial tournament. They're in the semifinals right now.
So that women's OCAA action, they're kind of a day behind. They'll be playing their championship games tomorrow. Fanshawe player taken down in the penalty area. Officials don't call anything, much to the chagrin of the Fanshawe bench. Falcons, they look motivated. That was a very powerful strike there, but way high of the net that time for the Falcons. Looked like Ibrahim Halaf with a very powerful kick, so look out for number 19 for Fanshawe. Clearly lots of leg. But you know, Andrew, we got to expect Fanshawe is going to be coming out very offensively oriented here. They're down by 2 goals, looking to battle their way back into this bronze medal game. But so far, I mean, as advertised, these 2 teams very strong defensively throughout the season. That was kind of how we saw the first half play out. But for Fanshawe, really going to have to sort of shift to that offensive focus trailing here. That was a nifty little scorpion move there. Kind of an unorthodox play by Gianfranco Galeppo.
Yeah, second time this weekend we've seen a play like that. Player kind of working that ball through his legs to get to one of his teammates.
Whipping it up like a king cobra.
Lots of style points here at the OCAA championships.
If I try to move like that, I'd have to call my chiropractor and tell him, clear all your appointments this week. I'm going to need some extra attention. Fanshawe working in deep. We mentioned they are a team that's really going to have to figure out a way to muster up some goals. Now, Fanshawe with a fair bit of offensive opportunities in that first half. In fact, there was a while there, even though they were trailing after that penalty kick early in the game, it was Fanshawe doing most of the shooting. But now they're going to have to convert, Andrew.
As like I mentioned in that first half, if you're going to have those big momentums, you know, you got to really ride that wave. You really got to capitalize on it. Otherwise, that momentum's just going to swing the other way and you kind of lose it. That's kind of what happened at the end of that first half.
But this is really what the doctor ordered for the Falcons. So far, they have had the ball in George Brown's zone. But, you know, one thing we've been kind of touching on throughout the game is how good George Brown's defense has looked. They're doing a good job of swarming. And they'll have to continue that to protect their lead.
Yeah, anytime there's a Seneca player getting around that 18-yard box, there's 2, ideally 3 George Brown defenders right on him. Make things very difficult. You mentioned before that Michael Snedden was one of the best players here for Fanshawe all season, was their leading goal scorer. Really, he's been having a difficult time here this afternoon, hasn't really found that open chance.
George Brown took home a medal last year. They got the silver after losing to Humber in the OCAA championship game. So George Brown would like to go back-to-back years with a medal. For Fanshawe, they were off the medal board last year, although the year previous they came away with the silver, once again losing to the Humber Hawks. That time, no George Brown defenders really moving towards the ball, but Fanshawe unable to capitalize. Here come the Huskies with a bit of room to work with. Leading the charge, Mark DeCote.
Good strike there, just couldn't curl it towards the net there.
So DeCote has scored both goals for George Brown. It's the team from London now advancing the ball. Fanshawe now giving chase in the offensive end. That ball deep in the corner and mishandled. It'll be throw in now for George Brown.
George Brown still pressed in their own end, though. If Fanshawe can play this right, they could turn this into an opportunity.
Good battle here between two players. Fanshaw's Ibrahim Khalaf looking to wrestle away the ball. Masoud Rahman kicking it away for George Brown. Intercepted by Fanshawe. A bit of a high play there. Looks like George Brown will be whistled for the violation.
Heat here slowly starting to turn up here as this game continues to march on. A little bit of that physicality turning up. Starting to see a few more fouls.
Both of these teams 7-2-1 on the year for their regular season play. Which of these 7-win teams is going to come away with the bronze? Right now it's George Brown sitting pretty with a 2-goal lead. And Andrew, a bit of concern if you're Fanshawe. You know, you're playing a George Brown team who only allows 1 goal on average per game. So Fanshawe's going to have to find a way to score 2 in one half just to tie this one up. Not an easy task.
No, definitely not, especially with the way George Brown's been playing, really clamping down defensively, making things extremely difficult for those Fanshawe attackers. Haven't been able to find a lot of open space. George Brown doing a good job here playing keep away.
Looks like pretty soon we'll have a substitution coming in for George Brown. Looks like at the next whistle, Jonas Jama will be coming in for the team in blue. You mentioned Huskies defense has been their strength all season long. Hard play there on the sideline, no whistle. Falcons at midfield. Passing it in deep, Andrew. Chance there is just wide of the net. Boy, that was a fast offensive opportunity for Fanshawe, and that's the kind of thing we're gonna really expect to see, right, Andrew? Is really that offensive pressure from the Birds.
Yeah, and Kyle Cameron, a good opportunity there with a burst of speed. Had to force the keeper there to dive across and make a save, and that'll lead to a corner kick. We'll see if they go that station-to-station operation that they had before on that corner kick in the first half.
Orsini out for the Huskies, and Jama checking in, as you see number 9 in blue.
Looks like instead they're going to cross it right into the box here.
Here we go, offensive chance for Fanshawe. Ball bouncing around off a couple of heads in tight. Back in Fanshawe's control. Can they cook something up here? George Brown defense doing what they do best, shutting things down. Back the other way now. Lots of field to work with as the Huskies charge down the field, led by Galeppo. Galeppo hits the turf. He's looking for a whistle. Not going to get one from the official. Fanshawe takes the ball back.
An opportunity here for Fanshawe to reset after they were going all offense. Had to come back in a hurry to get the defense placed down, but get their game going back here again.
Huskies head coached by John Williams, assistant coach Richard Kerwan, Aubrey Lowe, and Leslie Fitzpatrick, also assistant coaches for George Brown. Fair bit of experience in terms of years with the program from that coaching staff. You could say the same thing about the Fanshawe Falcons. 8th-year head coach Rob Pereira. As the ball is in deep there, Andrew. A lot of shouting going on the pitch. Opportunity for Fanshawe. Boy, real tough to get anything away with this George Brown defense.
Yeah, once again, they're making it very difficult. Michael Sneddon, captain, wearing the captain's armband here for the Falcons, couldn't get a clean shot away.
Just rounding off that Fanshawe coaching staff, of course, 8th-year head coach Rob Pereira, lead assistant Denny Rodriguez, Walter Picanco, Mo Nabivia, Kerry Durbin, therapist for Fanshawe. So we've seen a bit of that kind of offensive urgency from Fanshawe. So far not able to capitalize, but Andrew, you kind of got to like the way the winds are blowing if you're a Fanshawe fan. They certainly have been kind of picking up in their offensive pressure.
Yeah, but they got to keep that pressure up. Got to keep firing balls away at the net. If you keep those chances going, eventually one's going to go in, but they need two. That's the big problem. Against a good defensive squad here, they got a lot of work to do.
George Brown maybe threatening to put up some more offense here. A yellow card issued to George Brown. Their 2nd yellow card of the game.
Jason Alvarado being awarded this yellow card. Getting the caution.
Not the kind of award you want.
Definitely not.
George Brown now with the corner kick. Can they add to their lead here? Pretty nice looking kick coming in, a little too high for his teammates. Fanshawe now coming away with it. Lots of field opening up here. A bit of a foot race, and you gotta give credit to Freitas for helping to slow things down. Yet another yellow card being issued here.
Yeah, once again, the physicality, the chippiness started to pick up a little bit here. Both teams knowing what's on the line. Both of them don't want to go home empty-handed, want to end off their tournament on a high. Now with that free kick, Fanshawe can push all their players up the field. Once again, they're going to try and push for that first goal.
Yeah, both of these teams picking up tough losses yesterday in that semifinal round. Of course, Fanshawe losing to Humber and George Brown falling to the Seneca Sting. Of course, Humber and Seneca will be lined up here for the gold medal game starting at 3 o'clock right here on the Hawks Sports Network. We'd love to have you there with us for that game. That should be just a fantastic matchup, Andrew, because it's kind of that whole thing when we look at that gold medal game, the unstoppable force and the immovable object. Two teams between Humber and Seneca with great offense and great defense. So how does that match up? What kind of game do we get? Whose offense will prevail?
Yeah, both similar teams playing similar styles, each of them having a number of league all-stars, first and second team. Humber, of course, having OCAA Player of the Year Luca Uccello, but I mean, either side's got a lot of tremendous talent, so it should be a fun one to watch. But we're being treated to a good one here so far.
Charging down, George Brown's lead pass a little too far ahead as that's turned back over. Falcons need some goals and they need them quick.
Come on, kid!
Okay, a little bit of a measured pace for Fanshawe as they make their way deeper into Huskies territory.
Over about half an hour to go, I should say. Still plenty of time here, but once again, the earlier the better for that first goal.
Racing down for the ball here is Jonas Jama. Jama guarded tightly by a Fanshawe defender. Well done there to kind of slow down the play, back in the possession of the Huskies. Huskies who are content to kind of take their time here. Obviously they'd like to add on yet another goal, but they're just letting the time tick away here.
You know, with that 2-goal lead, they say it's the worst lead in sports, but George Brown's still keeping that pressure down, looking strong here in the second half despite that.
Christian Lamana coming into the game for George Brown. Number 3 for the Huskies.
It's looking like Freitas is going to come out.
George Brown kind of gets the ball in play, but it's the Falcons that come away with possession. Stretch pass broken up there and cleared out by George Brown. That ball will be blown dead here by the officials, kind of slowing up the play.
Staying back, getting a talk from the referee as he got that foul from the push from behind.
Alon Steinbeck, you're right, getting that kind of official warning from the referee. Nice touch passes by Fanshawe, making their way in. Nothing is the score here at the Ontario Soccer Centre in favor of the George Brown Huskies. We talked about George Brown's last season performance coming away with silver. A pretty good chance at bronze the way this game is looking.
Kyle Cameron getting called for that foul, didn't agree with it.
Good battle at midfield here for the ball. Almost a dangerous play for Fanshawe, nearly turning it over. Last touched by George Brown. Throw in from Fanshawe.
J-Mug getting caught offside there.
So about 25 minutes of regulation play left to work with here, Andrew. That's 25 minutes Fanshaw's really going to have to focus on getting something cooking offensively. So far off the score sheet.
Yeah, it's been a difficult afternoon for the Falcons. have had a couple scoring chances, but just not enough to get past the keeper. They're just going to have to continue to try and build here. You got to wonder when desperation time is going to kick in.
First-year goalkeeper for the Huskies, Mubra Butt. Kicks that one away. At midfield now, Fanshawe trying to wrestle it back, but a little collision between teammates. We'll see that ball trickle out of bounds. Like, Colin Elvey plays it back to his keeper, Luis Medicini, who checked into the game as the Fanshawe keeper for the second half. And to think, Andrew, that, you know, of course there was that penalty kick that got George Brown up 1-0 early in this game, but the 2-0 lead is really the product of just an awkward play late in the first half, and that's a backbreaker. Even you just think psychologically for the Falcons, you know, an opportunity to kind of come into the second half down 1-0 and feels a lot more manageable than 2-0 after that second goal just kind of trickled in late in the first half.
Yeah, and the way it happened definitely didn't help the situation here for the Falcons. Looked like a ball that could have been easily cleared on the goal line, but so a little bit of a weird shot there by Dakota, and Fanshawe defenders just out of position, couldn't make a play to clear that out of the box. And still we stand with the Falcons down 2-0.
Medicini being vocal in net for the Falcons. Good movement from Fanshawe, and an opportunity here in tight, and a brilliant save that time. Second opportunity, yet another spectacular save. Luca Ferreira. Pardon me, that was Mubra Butt. Outstanding work, Andrew, and I mean, give credit to Kyle Cameron busting in for the Falcons, but back-to-back saves. That's a huge play here in this bronze medal game.
Yeah, looking at each of those opportunities live, you thought for sure that would have gone into the back of the net, but keeper on it there, doing a magnificent job keeping the clean sheet alive.
A flurry of offensive opportunities for Fanshawe, coming up empty, but that was a big 45 seconds of play. Now that is what the doctor ordered for Fanshawe. Are we going to see more of that, or does George Brown kind of maybe take that as a wake-up call? Tighten up here. But we nearly had Fanshaw's first goal of the game.
Yeah, I'll bet one of these teams takes that as a wake-up call. I imagine we'll see a little bit momentum shift here for the Falcons. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Well, yeah, maybe for Fanshawe, starting to feel like we're getting things heating up offensively, but yeah, a bit of a spirit breaker, not being able to convert, and not a ton of time to work with here. Let's run it back, Andrew, because Cameron in tight, just outstanding. The second one is the real beauty, I think.
Oh yeah,
just getting the foot on it.
And he didn't have much time to reset there for that second save, but he still managed to get down and block that shot from going in. He's had a magnificent match through about 70 minutes or so.
Fanshawe regrouping. We got that 20 minutes left of regulation. valuable minutes kind of ticking away now. Fanshawe working hard to get on the board. Kyle Cameron working hard down low. Luis Medici, keeper for Fanshawe, yelling at his team, come on guys, it's not over yet. They got to keep fighting, and we've seen some good fight from Fanshawe here late in the game. You kind of wonder, Andrew, if that big stand by the George Brown keeper might have been kind of that defining moment of this game, that window for Fanshawe to get back in it. They remain scoreless.
This is real crunch time now. 20 minutes, that's about just enough time to score 2 if necessary. They're going to need 1 here in the next 10 minutes.
Now, speaking of Fanshawe making the move to switch out their keeper for the second half, Medici hasn't seen much work at all. It kind of speaks to that defensive focus for George Brown really coming into play here with that 2-goal lead. Looking for a lane, trying to play it in tight.
Yeah, a little bit of a curious decision to put Medici in the net for Fanshawe. Could be a reward for him for his season, or perhaps Coach Pereira just wanted to change things up.
Shake things up.
Free kick in good territory here for the Falcons. Yet another scoring opportunity. Chance here to get on the board and break that goose egg open.
Yeah, this would be major. That is sent in.
Cameron was knocked down. He wanted a penalty there, won't get it.
That time from that arc area. Strike goes way high.
Falcons are gonna get a free kick here off that foul. Netted on the ground, getting up.
Yeah, we talked about Michael Snedden, who had 13 goals in 9 games this regular season. Be big for him to get on the sheet here. That ball is just moving around off a couple players' heads. Looks like the Huskies are on a bit of an offensive charge as that ball is cleared well out of play here at the Ontario Soccer Center.
George Brown being careful how they play this one. Don't have quite all their players moving up to that attacking half of the field. Still remembering that Fanshawe's going to open up the floodgates here, is going to go all attack here pretty soon. Or at least ideally they would like to.
Yeah, but George Brown doing a good job. It kind of got Fanshawe jammed up in their own end here. This is what you'd like to see if you're George Brown and Huskies head coach John Williams, is to see Fanshawe just pinned back in their own end.
Oh, bad giveaway there.
Yeah, and this is going to lead for more time to tick off the clock. And no real sense of urgency here if you're George Brown, right? Just, yeah, let's pass the ball around and maintain possession, let Fanshawe's offense cool off here.
Just have a little game of keep away. They'll kind of chip it in here, and they'll retreat back to defense.
Medici with the big booming kick, advancing the ball downfield. Kyle Cameron is going to chase it for Fanshawe. Number 7 comes away with it here, moving towards the inside, and he's taken down. No whistle. Cameron on the turf slowly making his way back up. Played back to Mubber Butt. Too strong from George Brown. Whistle blown. A little bit of space to work with here for Fanshawe. Cutting in. Beautiful work here. Trying to put the brakes on. And just to the right of the net. So a little lapse in the George Brown defense allows yet another opportunity. But Andrew, for Fanshawe, it's really do or die time. And they need some of these shots to find the back of the net.
Yeah, another brilliant scoring opportunity there. Juan Sebastian Gomez Goliano. Looks like the skies open up from there. Golden opportunity, but he just puts that one wide past the post. Don't know if Fanshawe will see an opportunity quite as nice as that the rest of the way through.
Does that look like it just hit that left post? Play from just moments ago. We're back to live action here on HSN. Too strong that time. Drawing the whistle. Ethan Hunter just being a little too physical on defense for George Brown.
Fanshawe really needs one in the next couple minutes.
Got possession in tight here.
George Brown defense holding strong though.
Yeah, and having to be a little delicate in that penalty box area, lest they give Fanshawe an easy opportunity to get back into this game. You can hear Medici in net for Fanshawe. Really trying to rally the troops here. And it's the keeper on the other side for George Brown who's going to kick this one away. Ball bouncing into Fanshawe's zone. OCAA bronze medal game happening right before our eyes. Fanshawe Falcons went down a goal early. Powerful kick there. Well high the net, but I guess, Andrew, that's the sort of play we're going to be getting from Fanshawe here. Putting a lot of balls on net, just hoping for something to go their way here.
Yeah, I don't dislike that chance that he took there from just outside the box. Find a little bit of space. Sometimes you just have to unload and fire it, try and hope and pray it hits the net. Fortunately for him, it didn't there.
Callum Holdsworth comes into the game for Fanshawe. So maybe we're starting to see a bit of strategy from Falcons head coach Rob Pereira, kind of stacking that offensive pressure here. Because goals are all that matter for the Birds if they want a chance to come home with the bronze medal and bring that back to London, Ontario later today. Good save there.
But managing to get that right in the bread basket, falling down on that ball, and getting it to safety.
Just shy of 10 minutes left here in regulation. As the second half of this OCAA bronze medal game has featured a couple of offensive opportunities for Fanshawe. Really not much in the way of offense from George Brown, understandably so. Just more so focused on keeping Fanshawe off the board, and so far so good in that respect. But Andrew, Fanshaw's had their fair share of chances here in half number 2, but a couple of big saves from the George Brown keeper, Mubber Butt.
In the first half, they had their opportunities too, but That George Brown defense, just a tough one to navigate around. And when they do get a good chance, they'll butts right there to make the save.
What do you mean? You have to stop complaining. Stop complaining. That's not true. Hey! Hello, stay central.
And here we get a goal kick coming up. So that time Fanshawe kind of pressing the ball into George Brown territory, but coming up empty. Steinbach kind of in the mix there for George Brown, but the Falcons able to get possession. Trying to get set up here. That time a Falcons player taken down pretty hard. Michael Snedden, very valuable member of this Fanshawe team. You see there, down on the turf here at the Ontario Soccer Center. Can Fanshawe drum up a miracle here in this bronze medal game? Steinbach doing everything he can, using every part of his body to try to get that ball back.
Getting knocked down by the sideline, foul called. 7.5 left to go before added time. Another foul.
Yeah, that time we saw Jonas Jama with the foul on defense for George Brown. Free kick coming up. That is sent in. The header opportunity doesn't quite find any Falcons.
Gonna be a corner kick here for Fanshawe.
Sent in now, too high. George Brown trying to corral it defensively, taken back by Fanshawe. As that's headed out of bounds, and the goal kick coming up.
George Brown just need to play 6 minutes plus of some solid soccer here, and they'll come away with some hardware.
They've played 84 strong minutes thus far in that defensive regard. Steinbach has the ball taken away, so Fanshawe, maybe a little opportunity here with not a lot of time left, working down the sideline. Cleared out. For the Huskies, and head coach John Williams can almost taste that bronze medal already. Late in deep here. Sumana tries to clear it in. George Brown shutting that down. Bit of a collision there. Boy, give credit to the Falcons. They're really fighting for the ball here. But once they really advance it like we're seeing right now, it's just the shutdown defense. There it is, right on call.
Story of the game. That George Brown defense has been holding strong. Really all 85+ minutes we've been seeing them so far.
And running out for the save is Mabur Butt. Whistle blown for an injured player, but getting right back to his feet, Adrian Curie. Quick sub coming in for Fanshawe, checking into the game. Ibrahim Ara.
Yeah, drop in there a little bit, let him run. Go up top. Up top. Come on.
'87th minute. That window of opportunities for Fanshawe getting smaller and smaller by the second. Now you got to wonder if they can even get just one.
Well, you know, Fanshaw's trying with the offensive pressure fully dialed up here. Kyle Cameron with some nifty work with the ball, clearing it in deep. Huskies doing a great job keeping it in play. Really nice finesse along the sideline to maintain possession. That's just more time off the clock. Fanshawe does not have it in the zone. Cameron races down. His crossing attempt taken away. Well, Andrew, we've seen defense not surprisingly be sort of the main storyline in this matchup between these two squads who have not allowed much in the way of goals so far this season. But the Huskies with a big play early in the game, and anytime you can score a goal from the first 6 minutes, Mark Ducote really putting his team in the driver's seat. Of course, Ducote getting another goal late in that first half, and that's looks like it might be good enough to capture the bronze for the George Brown Huskies.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, it's going to be a tough mountain to climb here for Fanshawe. Even getting one here is going to be a difficult task because George Brown has just been playing their game plan to perfection here, staying defensive, staying tight. A lot of communication here and not letting anything slip away from them.
Both teams certainly can hang their hat on great seasons here in the OCAA. Both teams with identical 7-2-1 records. But here on Bronze Medal Day, last Saturday of October, George Brown able to find the scoreboard. You know, when Fanshawe won their quarterfinal matchup against the St. Lawrence Surge, Fanshawe scored early in that game, and that kind of put them in the driver's seat. Now in this game, it was George Brown scoring early and maintaining control of this game all the way through.
2 minutes of added time. Another yellow card awarded.
A minimum of 2 minutes of added time.
And we just received word that Humber just tied up their game against the Niagara Knights in the semifinals match. Lisa Oliveira scored now 2-2. As it looks like that game will be headed to extra time.
Women's soccer OCAAs. So some semifinal action for the women's teams today and championship rounds here for the men. As OCAA bronze will be decided in just over 60 seconds. OCAA gold will be decided later this afternoon between the Humber Hawks and Seneca Sting.
Kitchen sink time here for the Fanshawe Falcons as they have Lucas Medici pushed up past half.
Yeah, Luis Medici with the kick here, a big booming shot. Hit the crossbar. So not a bad attempt there from the keeper who checked in for half number 2. But Andrew, you kind of feel like that might have been the last chance there for Fanshawe, who put up a good effort, got down early and never could really come back.
Yeah, it's been a tough afternoon here for the Falcons. Seen a few scoring chances, although no real grade A scoring chances coming from inside the 18-yard box. They've all had to come from outside. Some good strikes we've seen, though. Just haven't been able to navigate around George Brown defense and the keeper. Good job there by Butt.
Checking into the game for George Brown late here is pardon me, Matteo Raponi. Medici one last kick here, right at that center field line. Fanshawe get on it, cleared out there by George Brown. You feel like any second now we're going to get that final whistle of of play.
This corner might be the last play of the game.
It's going to come from Juan Sebastian Gomez Galliano. Alaf working with it in tight. Some nice skill on display late for Fanshawe. In tight now. Can Fanshawe spoil that clean sheet? Another shot off the crossbar. That's just kind of how it's gone for Fanshawe today. Despite the offensive opportunities, just can't seem to get one in net. Andrew, there's been certainly a fair share of those opportunities for Fanshawe. The finish, unfortunately, has not been there.
Yeah, just a case here of too little, too late at the end of the game. Managed to hit iron there a few times, but still looking to hit twine. And they'll do it.
A bronze medal for the OCAA goes to the George Brown Huskies. Hats off to Fanshawe and team head coached by Rob Pereira for their effort here today, but unable to get on the board. George Brown, on the other hand, benefiting from a very nice penalty kick from Mark Ducote. Ducote also scoring the second goal of the game for George Brown.
Is there anything I need to do for the award?
So Andrew, that will be it. The bronze goes to George Brown, and last year coming away with the silver, this year still coming away with the medal. So a good, successful season. Let's run back some of those key plays, Andrew. This was what ultimately drew that penalty kick just a few minutes into the game.
Yeah, we didn't know it then, but that would lead to the winning goal very early in the match. There's the strike there, the penalty shot. Labeled for that top corner. Daniel Gonzalez got a piece of it, but just couldn't stretch enough to make that save. It was almost a perfect shot.
And that was that second goal. And, you know, funny to see even the George Brown Huskies scoring their second goal of the game. Just an awkward play and just kind of scratching their heads. And the that would be that insurance policy, which was ultimately not needed. As like you said, that penalty kick, ultimately the game winner. And, you know, we talked about, you know, the offensive chances for Fanshawe that poured in the second half. But these saves, oh, beautiful stuff there to secure the lead for George Brown. Hats off to the shutout performance from Mabrur Butt.
Yeah, an absolutely massive save there to keep that one above the bar. Kept that clean sheet. It was magnificent here all afternoon.
Getting a good look at George Brown post-game, the thrill of victory, and the impending presentation of the bronze medals to the victorious squad here. Of course, that was our bronze medal game here on the Hawks Sports Network. We're going to take a look at the medal presentation ceremonies here with you. But later this afternoon, 3 o'clock scheduled kickoff for the gold medal match. The #1 nationally ranked program, Humber Hawks, who are also hosting the provincial championship, will be squaring off against the undefeated Seneca Sting, who are ranked 4th in the nation.
Players of the game. First for the Fanshawe Falcons.
Let me know if I should adjust it or not.
Number 15, Eric Samoy.
And let's listen to Dwayne Bowles with the player of the game presentation for Fanshawe's player of the game, Eric Savoy, and we'll step aside and let you listen in.
And from the George Brown Huskies, number 15, Jason Alvarado.
We're looking over here, big man.
For the tournament all-star from the Fanshawe Falcons, number 6, Angel Camille. The tournament all-star from the George Brown Huskies is number 8, Mark Dakota.
Looking over here. Looking over here, sir. Real camera, boy.
And now the medals for your 2022 OCAA Championship bronze medalists. Number 1, Luca Pereira. Number 2, Abubakar Hussein. Number 3, Christian Lamena. Number 4, Tiago De Jesus. Number 5, Gianfranco Gileppo. Number 6, Matias Ramirez. Number 7, Renato Freitas. Number 8, Mark Dakota. Number 9, Jonas Jam. Number 10, Alon Steinbach. Number 11, Ryan Husseini. Number 12, Matteo Raponi. Number 13, Mashoud Rahami. Number 14, Matteo Pacheco. Number 15, Jason Alvarado. Number 16, Jesse Torture. Number 17, Max Jordan. Number 18, Johoris Tutu. Number 19, Billy Jankos. Number Number 20, Adrian Arcuri.
Yes, Adrian.
Number 22, Nicholas Orsini. Number 23, Ethan Hunter. Number 24, Brian Arujo. Number 28, Mavor Boot. And number 42, Anthony Chimenera. For the coaching staff, Richard Kerwin. Assistant coach, Aubrey Lowe. Assistant coach, Leslie Fitzpatrick. The therapist is Sam Sanglaker. The team manager is Ali Zahidi. And the head coach for this year's OCAA Championship bronze medalist, John Woodward. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2022 OCAA Championship bronze medalists, the George Brown Huskies.
Gents, I just want to say, you know what, it was a hard-fought weekend. This is the hardest medal to play for. So thanks for showing up and still playing to your full potential, okay? We'll see you in the weekend. Guys, this table, please.
The bronze medal game. Now stick with us. Kicking off at 3 o'clock here on the Hawks Sports Network. The gold medal matchup. The #1 team in the country takes on the #4 ranked team in the country. Humber versus Seneca. And it's all going down to decide who gets the gold medal in the OCAA. For my broadcast partner, Andrew Milani, and myself, Matt Hamill, we'll see you then. It should be a great one. Stay with us here on HSN.